Coming up on Cleveland Stage Tour, I am joined by Melissa Campbell, who is making her national tour debut as Miranda Hilliard in the musical adaptation of Miss Doubtfire. We talk about her journey from community theater in Cincinnati to the national stage, bringing empathy to a character often misunderstood, and how this show balances big laughs with real emotional depth. Coming up next on Cleveland Stage Door. Melissa, thank you so much for joining me. This is so exciting. Miss Doubtfire is returning to Northeast Ohio yet again, and you are playing Miranda in the show. This is your national tour debut. What does it mean for you to making the debut with a show like Miss Doubtfire?
It is a huge honor. It has been so exciting to experience touring for the first time and to be sharing a message that is all to do with love and bringing joy to people across the country. It's been a blast so far.
That so for anyone getting to know you, how would you describe your journey from Cincinnati to New York and now on to a national tour?
Yeah, so I did a lot of work in Cincinnati. I did a lot of community theater. I did a lot of semi-professional theater. I trained all through middle school and high school. You can ask my parents. I mean, they were so supportive of this journey for me and drove me to all my lessons. And then I ended up going to school at Oklahoma City University, where I got my
Okay,
Bachelor of Music in Music Theater. And there's
love that.
huge inspirations from OCU. Our community is awesome. And we have this community called OCU NYC of people that have moved after graduating from OCU to New York.
Wow.
And that made the journey a little bit easier when I decided to make the big leap. And once I moved, I started auditioning and I started doing a lot of theme park work actually, singing pop
Wow.
songs, doing shows that were more like presentational, more, um, just things you'd see when you go to an amusement park. And I ended up doing a cruise ship after that. And then I dove into doing more musical theater, which led me to be here.
That's just so exciting. That's so awesome. So I'm intrigued. What theme parks were you with?
Yeah. So I did Kings Island, which is in Mason, Ohio. I worked there a couple years. I did Dorney Park, which is in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I did Holiday World, which is in Santa Claus, Indiana. Those were
That's
like
so
the three.
exciting. That's so awesome. So awesome. I went to Kings Island a bunch for their music festival called Spirit Song back in the day. So
Yes.
I used to work for the festival. So I used to be
Oh,
one of
that's
the
cool.
stage producers for it for like 10 years. So what
Oh,
a connection that is.
wow.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I love Kings Island. That was something I loved
Same.
all growing up, and then getting to work there, it was like I got to see the behind the scenes magic. It was cool.
Yeah, definitely. And it's always stands out to me because they have the Eiffel Tower like right in the middle of the park.
Exactly.
It's such an interesting touch. So
Yeah.
let's jump into this. So your role, Miranda Hilliard, is the mother of the show of the kids. Is a well known character from the film. What excited you most about getting to put your own stamp on her for the stage?
Oh, good question. Well, so I was really inspired by Sally Field from the movie. I mean, she is such a phenomenal actress, and she shares such a wonderful touch of warmth while also having to be the person that causes conflict in the whole story. I mean, there really wouldn't be a problem if Miranda didn't ask for a divorce. It sort of starts the whole spiral of the plot. So I think I've found a lot of joy in showing Miranda's heart behind it and showing the reasons that she asked for this divorce and finding the balance between loving her family and wanting what's best for them and also choosing what's best for her along the way too. It's a struggle that a lot of mothers face and a lot of women, and it's been exciting to tell that story.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Miranda is sometimes misunderstood. How do you approach playing her in a way that feels honest and empathetic.
Yeah, I think a lot of people watch the movie and they see Miranda as the villain of the story. And I think I've tried to approach it in a way of truth and of vulnerability, because the reality is Miranda worked really hard to save the marriage. She tried everything, and it just turned out that it wasn't right. There's a song in the second act called Let Go, and it's her moment to really break down those walls and share with Mrs. Doubtfire in that moment why she chose to have a divorce.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and I think it shows that she wasn't being selfish in this decision. She was just trying to protect the joy and happiness of her whole family, including Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And that song is incredible. So let's that's kind of a good pivot. I know you mentioned the song. Do you feel like is there a point where the audiences really connect with Miranda? Like, at what point do you feel like the audiences connect with her?
Sure. Well, I interestingly enough, I think the opening number already shares a lot of Miranda's perspective. It's called And That's Daniel, and it shares a lot of the problems that Daniel causes, and it shows some of his immaturity, and it has the whole ensemble sharing that perspective of Miranda being like, wow, I am dealing with so much right now. But I'd say obviously the audience is going to connect with Daniel as well. So there's this back and forth throughout all of Act One. And once we get to Act Two and we see Miranda's career starting to flourish and she breaks down and has that moment of vulnerability, I'd say Let Go is the moment that most people see themselves in Miranda and are able to connect with her.
I agree. I agree. That's great. For someone coming to see Miss Doubtfire for the first time, especially if they loved the movie, what should they expect?
Well, if you love the movie, you're going to expect some of those iconic lines. All of the ones that you want to hear are in the musical. So no worries about that. You'll also, you should expect something that's a little elevated from the movie. You know, we've changed a lot of the references to be more present, to be references that are relevant in 2026. So you'll be laughing at the new jokes, and some of the jokes from the movie in the 90s don't land the same way. So audiences have been cracking up, but then you'll also find a lot of heart in our show. Just the same as in the movie. You'll get to the end and you will have this moment of seeing the Hillard family connect as your family does. And the show ultimately is about love and about finding love in the hardest of circumstances, even if your family doesn't look normal, even if it's not perfect. As long as there is love, there's a possibility of happiness.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you pivot perfectly into my next question every single time, without
Perfect.
without giving. Um, the show balances big comedy with real heart. As a performer, what's the biggest challenge of living both of those worlds at once?
Mm. I think the biggest challenge is being able to connect those two worlds, because oftentimes I think comedy can be very over the top, and like you're not thinking about the emotional repercussions of jokes, but each joke in this is built on real problems and real vulnerability. And so finding the connection between it's that, like, if I don't laugh, I'll cry sort of thing. So making light of the moments that are really hard to face in everyday life. Um, and I think Robin Williams is an excellent example of comedy in that way. He always had that perfect touch of softness with his comedy. And I think Craig Allen Smith does an excellent job of replicating that on our stage.
I can't wait to see him. I can't wait
Mhm.
because I saw Rob the first time, so that was
Yes.
so
Oh,
I can't wait. So without giving anything away, is there a moment in the show that consistently surprises the audiences?
oh. well, I don't want to give anything away, but I would say the reveal of I don't think this is giving anything away because everybody knows that Daniel becomes Mrs. Doubtfire. We know this. The reveal of to Miranda, like you know in the movie at the restaurant Bridges, there's
Hmm.
this reveal of Mrs. Doubtfire being Daniel. The reveal is a bit different in the musical, and people consistently love it. They think it's hilarious, and it's all sort of orchestrated by this singer, um, played by Kirsten Angelina Henry, and she is fantastic, and people are going to love it.
Yeah, the song is incredible. That song when they, yeah, I love it. I love it.
Hmm.
I actually that was in like my top 10 for my
Yeah,
Spotify Wrapped for the last. It's so good, so good.
it's a great song, and it's so funny and impressive. I mean, Kirsten and the backup dancers are just, they do an excellent job of orchestrating the reveal. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one that surprised me the most was, and this might be giving it away, but the workout scene.
Oh, sure.
That was hilarious to me. That was so funny, and I was like, wait, really?
Yes. Right. Well, right, because Stu gets his own song in it, and he has
Yeah,
this
yeah.
back and forth with Doubtfire. That is just so funny.
Because you
Yeah.
don't really learn anything about Stu in the movie,
No.
and then you have a huge plot like part in the musical. So it was a nice addition to get to know him better, and that was great. That was great. That was funny. So you've let's talk about your past now. You've played iconic roles like Carole King, Julie Jordan, Haynes. How have those experiences shaped the way you approach Miranda?
Yeah. Um, I would say each of those roles has posed different challenges, but with every role I've gotten to play, I feel like I've gotten better at finding the balance of vulnerability and like being a real person. So, you know, when you're on stage, there's all of a sudden this like heightened everything, heightened
Hmm.
music, your emotions are higher. And with each of those roles, especially with Carole King, I think there are so many small emotional shifts along the way that happen in your everyday life that you don't always think about when you're doing the broad strokes of stage.
Yeah.
So with those roles, I've just gotten better at taking those small moments and finding the meaning in them. Um, and even like becoming a mother on stage, I played the mother in Mary Poppins, and Carole King is a mother, and I think I've
Wow.
gotten better. I'm not personally a mother yet, but playing those roles has really informed the sacrifice of what mothers give and the joy it also allows them to have by supporting a small human being.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, since this is your first national tour, what has surprised you the most about stepping into tour life, both on stage and off?
Oh, I think the biggest surprise, I guess, is that the the crew we are working with is incredible, and they work extremely hard, and they really never get breaks. So I think my biggest surprise, and I've been most impressed by working with the crew that we have. We travel with a crew of 12 people, and then we have local crew come to help us at each venue. And our crew works so hard, and they are constantly having to teach new people different tracks backstage. But the local crew, they don't get a rehearsal before the first show. You know, they get a piece of paper that tells them all their tracking for the production, and they are flying by the seat of their pants, and they do an amazing job every time. I I have been so impressed every time we go to a venue by how fluid the show is, even though more than half the people working on it have never touched the material before. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And yeah, that's just the testament of the incredible talent that's probably been on national tours and have come off of the road to work the local crew, and so they're used to that ongoing challenge every single week or every month with a new show, basically. So that's such a great testament there. So personal touches here. If you could go back to your first day in your theater career, what is one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think a huge lesson I've learned along the way is that being perfect every time doesn't really allow for artistry. And there's so much pressure put on yourself if you're trying to be perfect right away. Obviously, come prepared, know your stuff, but have that freedom of making a mistake every now and then, because audiences don't want to see cardboard cutouts on stage. They want to see real people telling real stories, and real people make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I can give.
I love that. And finally, what are you most excited about when Miss Doubtfire comes to Akron in about a week?
Well, I'm just so excited to hear audiences go on the journey with us. I haven't gotten to go back to Ohio in quite a while, so I'm excited to be in my home state and to hear how people connect with Daniel and with Miranda and the kids, and to hear their laughter, but also to hear how it touches their hearts in the end.
I love that. So I assume you have not gone back to Cincinnati yet?
No, not yet. No, the closest we get while we're on this tour is Dayton. So,
okay. So that's not that far, right? That's like an hour.
Come out then. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Well, Melissa, this was incredible. This was so inspiring and insightful. Miss Doubtfire is coming to E.J. Thomas Hall in Akron for 2 shows, January 20th and 21st, 2026. Tickets are available on playoffsquare.org. Any last touches, anything that anybody that they need to know about the show?
Come in with an open mind. I think come in ready to laugh and ready to hear a story that you might connect with more than you think.
I love that. So, Melissa, thank you so much for joining me. Here is a special sneak peek of the show, thanks to our friends at Playoff Square and Miss Doubtfire, the musical. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Mrs. Doubtfire, you are too good to be true.